Starting your newborn adoption journey as a Christian is incredibly simple, but it gets really complicated by all the conflicting information out there, by way too much advice that you find online, and also by really strong opinion from people who have either never adopted before or had a really bad experience through their adoption process, and the list goes on. And when it comes to starting your adoption journey, it should not start by finding an agency and doing your home study, or going in Facebook groups and asking people for recommendations of, agencies that they've used so that you can use the same agencies, or throwing up your hands and saying, the heck with it, we're just gonna self-match and save money. You are actually in complete control of how you start your adoption journey, and you get to decide if you're gonna do it well, confidently, knowing exactly what steps to take, or if you're just gonna throw yourself in it and do it haphazardly. Starting your adoption journey requires just one very first step that you can take today. And that step is knowing the pros and cons of each type of adoption so that you can make the best decision for you from the beginning. So most people start their adoption by hiring an agency, doing their home study because that's what they heard everywhere. And then they wait 1, 2, 3 years without a match. And now they're wondering, gosh, maybe we should have looked at different options before we ever hired this agency in the first place. And by the time they get here, they've already spent so much money with the agency. They've already waited so long that it's easy to start feeling hopeless and feeling like maybe that match will never happen and maybe they'll never fulfill their dream of actually growing their family through adoption. So what I'm gonna share in this video is for Christian families who know that God has called them to adoption, but they wanna know what are the first steps that I need to take, the right first steps that I need to take to actually start the process and do it confidently. As an adoption lawyer who has helped hundreds of families finalize their adoptions, I provide an unbiased, streamlined source of everything that Christian families need for a successful adoption before, during, and after. And I also personally guide Christian families through the entire adoption process based on my experience as an adoption lawyer. If that sounds interesting to you, comment below application and I will send you a link to apply to book a call to talk with someone on my team so we can talk you through your best next adoption steps and also to see if you're fit for us to work together to help you through the entire adoption process from A to Z like we've done for so many other families just like you. So if that's you, comment below application and I will send the link for you to apply. So whether you're a Christian family who just decided that adoption is the best path for you to grow your family, or you've been researching for a long time and you're still not sure what to do, this video is for you. So if you want to start your newborn adoption journey confidently without the overwhelm and the confusion about what to do, the very first step that you can take today is to take the time to know the pros and cons of all of your different options so that you can make the best choice for you from the very beginning. This is the foundational, most crucial step that you need to take if you're gonna navigate this process well and do so confidently. What do I mean? Well, there are many different ways that you can legally adopt a child, right? You can adopt legally a newborn, you can adopt legally through foster care or internationally. So it's really important for you, if newborn is really what's on your heart, that you understand the pros and cons of newborn adoption instead of just kind of diving in and assuming that newborn adoption is what's going to be best for your family. One of our clients here, Javisha, when she started working with us, she went in thinking that newborn adoption was the best route for her family. And after she started working with us, she actually realized that actually newborn adoption is not the best path for our family in this season of our lives. And they started pursuing adopting from foster care instead, okay? That's the power of considering all of your options and then making sure that you know for sure this is the type of adoption that's actually the best path for my family. A lot of times families just kind of jump into the process just assuming a newborn is what we want a baby, we want to grow a family with a newborn, but a newborn adoption may not actually be the best fit for your family. Okay, believe it or not, I know it sounds crazy, but if you really take the time to understand the pros and cons of all the different types of adoption, you might be shocked to find out that, wow, maybe international adoption is where God has really pulling our hearts. We just didn't know anything about it. Or maybe adopting from foster care, we had all these crazy ideas about it, but after learning more, maybe that's really where a family is supposed to go. So it's really important for you to take the time to explore all the options instead of going into it with just this one mindset, newborn adoption, that's what I want. This is crucial because that decision that you make is actually what determines your path to adoption. And let's talk about a couple of pros and cons of newborn adoption. Now, these are the pros and cons that I wrote down, but I'd love to hear what your pros and cons are when it comes to newborn adoption. First, you get to be a parent, right? That's amazing. Second, and these are in no particular order. Second, you get to maintain a relationship with your adopted child's biological family, which is amazing because your child then gets to know their biological family from the outset and gets to know them as they grow up. I think that's a huge pro of newborn adoption, and I'm a huge advocate of open adoption. Number 3, you get to raise that child from infancy and watch them grow in your home, which I think is a big pro of newborn adoption. All right, now let's talk about 3 cons of newborn adoption. Con number 1, that I'm sure that you'll agree with, is the cost of newborn adoption. Number 2, con of a newborn adoption is there are a lot of scams out there. A lot of scams. And number 3 con for me for newborn adoption is that it's gonna become a business where some adoption professionals only care about the profits, like how much money they're making or getting from you, instead of really caring for you as the adoptive family, the birth mom, like really caring for her, or even the children. A quick side note, I don't believe that newborn adoption should happen the way that we see it mainstream today. I believe from a Christian perspective, our approach to newborn adoption should be completely different. It should not look like the world's way of doing newborn adoption. I think that newborn adoption in the church should be a ministry that we do for families. And this is what I mean by that. When an expectant mom is really thinking about placing her baby for adoption, I believe that the church should be at the forefront of making sure that expectant moms are getting the resources they need to parent. And after that expectant mother has received the counseling and the resources that they need to parent, and the church has really kind of come around her and wrapped around her, if after all of that, that expectant mom is still saying, you know what, I believe the best decision for me and my baby is to place for adoption, at that point, then the church can help that expectant mom find an adoptive family that's going to adopt her child, and that's going to keep that relationship open so that child can still grow up knowing who their biological family is. For me, that is the best case scenario that we can have in the newborn adoption world. And I believe that if the church really wants to make a difference, this is a huge area where the church can make a massive difference, where adoption is no longer an industry like we see it today, but it actually becomes a ministry. All right, so I talked about the very first step, understanding all the different types of adoptions, weighing the pros and cons, and I give you an example about a couple of pros and cons that you can quickly write down with you and your spouse and kind of talk about it. Now, the second step after you go through the pros and cons of each different type of adoption is to decide the type of a professional that you want to work with, okay? Because there are a lot of different ones out there. There's agencies, consultants, lawyers. You can self-match legally as well. That is a valid way that families match all the time and adopt. And you can do that legally, okay? So research all the different types of adoption professionals out there, figure out which one you think is gonna be the best fit for your family, and then ask them questions to really find out which one is the best fit for you. Okay, there are right questions to ask and wrong questions to ask, okay? And so you wanna make sure that you properly vet them so that by the time you actually give them your money, you are confident that this professional that you chose to help you through the process is actually gonna do what they told you that they would do. So remember, it's all about laying the proper foundation before you ever hire a professional or do your home study. Now, these steps apply to any family who desire to adopt a newborn, but if you're a Christian family who is serious about adopting, you really believe that this is what God's calling you to do, God's, has tugged your heart towards adoption, and you want to know how to do the process well, how to navigate through the process without losing a lot of time and money, that's what we help families with. So comment below application and I will send you the link to apply to see if we're fit to work together. All right, be sure to like this video and subscribe to get new videos every week, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye-bye.